All right, well, welcome to the Happy Feet program, the Sunday night edition. It's our second week, and hopefully everybody, it appears everybody got the email this week. Last week we had some problems, but I am grateful that you're here tonight. We have with us tonight Angela Zaccagnini, who is a registered dietitian at the Hillman Cancer Center, and she has been working with the Cancer Caring Center for 3 years, 4 years, we couldn't remember. So it's been a while, but she is just a really valued resource. I mean, it has a tremendous amount of knowledge, and it was really fantastic to talk to and try to learn from. But before we get to that, I wanted to just go over a little bit of housekeeping. Hopefully everybody got, the links are going to be consistent for Sunday night and for Tuesday. So we have 3 links. One's for every Sunday, one's for every Tuesday, and one's for every Thursday. So you are welcome to come to all the, Zoom calls. The calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays are a little bit more casual and conversation and just talking about, just checking in, just seeing how things are going. But we do have a guest speaker every Sunday, and they're going to hit on the topics that Wendy talked about last week. And so tonight is nutrition, so I'm very excited about that. And I also just wanted to point out a couple things we have coming up this week. And I know a couple folks participated in the yoga session. We have Sadie Grossman, who does yoga twice a month. It's gentle movement and breathing, we call it, because it is more of like a restorative yoga. And so I know on the Facebook page, some people said they participated in that. So I'm just trying to introduce everybody to all of the things we have available that are free. I can't see everybody right now, but hopefully if you participated in it, you enjoyed it. The next one will be in February, so it'll be a couple of weeks. But I was actually going to see if I can get Sadie to come on later on a Sunday night or maybe a Tuesday and Thursday, and I'd like to record that so you have that session. On tomorrow night, we have Cognitive Toolbox, which is a fabulous program for cognitive help. I've participated in it every month, and and you may have cognitive issues stemming from chemotherapy, surgery, a variety of things. A lot of times, even just the stress of the diagnosis brings on a lot of cognitive changes, and there are really concrete and great tools that you can take away from that program. Tuesday night is art therapy, which isn't movement, but you can definitely partake in that if you want to. That's at 6:30. Brant is a registered, he's an art therapist. He's a social worker with a specialty in art therapy, and he's fantastic. So I have the link for that. If you're interested, you can take advantage of that. And then if you are interested, on Thursday night, I'm running a panel discussion with 5 breast oncologists, Dr. Abrupsky, Dr. Hilton, Dr. Puhala, and Dr. Analo on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Just email me, or you can put something in the chat as well. And so, Catherine, if you want to, do you want to take a few seconds now and just talk about the, just making sure everybody is signed up and actually what we probably should do is let me just get out of the spotlight video here. Can we just see a show of hands of anybody who is not set goals and or putting in their, minutes of movement? Is there anybody on the call tonight that is not doing that? Okay, good.
I have not done that yet.
I'm sorry, Harriet, what did you say?
I haven't done it yet. I haven't signed in. This is my first week.
Okay, awesome. If you need help, Harriet, just email me. And but I'll take I don't know, Catherine, do you want to share the screen and talk about how it works? Or
I could probably do it.
Well, we can show everybody the screen anyway. It doesn't hurt. But do you want me to go ahead and do that, Jen? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jen.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. You can, I'll set it so you can share. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you'll remember, or if you're new here, there are 2 forms. The first one is the goal setting form. So if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, if you would do that, you only need to do it one time. So you're going to put in your name and your email address, and then you're just going to sort of set a goal for yourself, and the days that you think that you're most likely to be able to be active and how much you want to be active. So doing that is one way that I can get your can link up to the activity tracker that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So it lets me take your email address and put a name on the dashboard. So if your name is still showing up as an email address on the dashboard, that might be why. And I thought it would be cool if people are interested, I can maybe in the future sort of set up a second part of the dashboard that lets you see how you're doing in terms of the goals that you set for yourself. So on that note, the two forms, I think now you can access the forms through the Cancer Caring website. So I don't know, Jen, did you send out that information to everybody?
I was gonna just quickly here, I'll share it now.
Okay.
So I'm actually already in this, but
yeah, I can just talk over this. This is great. Yeah, so you can see the two blue buttons there. Once you log, so you'll have to sign up.
This is on the Cancer Caring Center website, and then there's a Happy Feet tab. And when you press the Happy Feet tab, it's not doing it, of course, right now, but there's one that says sign up and there's another one that says log in. Oh, I guess he moved those then. So they're down here.
Yeah. So the dashboard at the bottom right now of the screen is just the public view. So it doesn't have names or filters in it. It's just kind of the overall summary for everybody, but you can actually get to your own data that you've been entering, which I've been using, and I find it's very motivating. So what you'll do is can you scroll back up, Jen? If it's your first time visiting the site, you'll click sign up, and then it takes like 30 seconds to sign up. You just give your information. You do have to wait for a confirmation, but once you get a confirmation, then when you come back to this screen, you'll just click log in.
And then when you log in, you can see and primarily why I did this was because not everybody's on Facebook, because we actually can't put that whole screen on Facebook, you know, you can come in here and this will be where the Zoom links are. So if you have any problems and you can't find the Zoom links, I'm also going to put some videos on there. They're not on there right now, but there's the same videos that I'm going to be posting on Facebook. And then you can go and see the activity wheel but this includes everybody's activity, and then it does include names. So that's why we protected it.
Yeah, and you can, if you want to, up on the top part of the screen right above where the pedometer visualization is, you see there's two filters. One is for participant and one is for activity. So you can use this if you just want to look at your own activity. It'll filter the whole dashboard and just show you your data. So you can see the data that you've entered in and sort of start to look at trends. And then over time, what I was thinking is cool, I put this visualization in there that shows day of the week so that you can, Jen, you can filter on mine if you want on the first one.
What do I do to do that?
You can click only button. Good question. So if you have an accountability partner, you can select, yourself and your accountability partner. If it's just you, you can just click the button that says only when you hover over your name, and then you'll see this is Catherine's activity tracker. So I can see the minutes I entered last week and this week. And then you can see the type of activity that I've logged and which days I'm most active. Yesterday I was killing it. Clearly today, maybe not much. Yeah, so it's just kind of a way for you to see your own data, and then you can just pull that filter off. So if you go back just the way you came, Jen, to that participant filter. Yeah. And then click on the top, there's a negative sign. Oh yeah, or you could do that. Perfect. And then that'll show you everybody's data, and you can kind of see like the happiest feet of the week, who has logged the most minutes. And then so far in the group, you can see, so it's one for this week and one for the whole program. There is a little scroll bar on the side right now, but you should be able to get to your data here, and you can kind of see the different activities that people are logging. That's what the color is. So we have a lot of people walking, and we have a lot of yoga. Good job, everybody. So it's just, I don't know, And this is where you can come in and see your own data. And this is coming in through the entries that you're using. And if you haven't done it yet, Jen, if you scroll up, the buttons are just above the dashboard. So you can see the log activity to enter the data. They'll go on the dashboard, and then set goals. You only need to do that one time. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Catherine. This has been, it's exciting. So I personally just find it motivational to, you know, see some progress and, you know, to see what everything that's adding up. And so if you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me. I'm not the most technical person in the world, but I am trying as hard as I can to make this work.
And I'm happy to help too. And if you have ideas about, you know, for the dashboard, and we're trying to keep it simple, I don't want to demotivate people by asking you to enter tons of information, but if there is stuff, you know, that would be helpful, I'll try to help out.
Yeah, so we basically just wanted one place that, you know, you could go and see, because I still want to use the Facebook page, but I know not everybody's on there. So I just wanted to let you know about that. So it's, and now we're going to move into our guest speaker tonight, which is Angela Zaccagnini. I think everybody is on the call when we talked about her before, but she is a registered, are you an oncology nutritionist?
Yes.
Yes, which is a fairly difficult distinction, if I remember correctly. So she has been working at the Cancer Caring Center for about 3 or 4 years, and she does a monthly Zoom call. It used to be in person, but obviously now it's in Zoom, which is always the second Monday of the month. And you are all welcome to join her. And I know many patients have said that you're a godsend and you've really helped them. I know one in particular was a head and neck cancer patient that said that they would not be alive if it wasn't for Angela, because she really tailored and found ways for them to drink and to be able to maintain weight, because it was a pretty significant problem. But I will let you share. Why don't you share a little bit about what you actually do, and then go into your program for tonight. But we're very thankful for your time on this Sunday night. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks everybody for having me tonight. I'm happy to be here. Like Jen said, I've been working for the Cancer Caring Center for quite a few years now, but I am a registered dietitian specialist in oncology, and I've been working at the Hillman Cancer Center since 2017. I did start working as a registered dietitian back in 2014 as an inpatient dietitian at Shadyside Hospital. And then I transferred over to the Hillman Cancer Center and focused mainly on oncology. I definitely have a passion for it. The population is just amazing. I feel like I can really make a difference and help patients with their nutrition needs, symptom management, pre, post, you know, and even survivorship nutrition. So I really do feel that nutrition plays a really big role within, like I said, side effects to nutrition or side effects to treatment, and then in post treatment and survivorship. So nutrition is one piece of the puzzle though. And that's what I always tell my patients. I'm like, it's one piece of the puzzle, but it is something you can control. You know, you can't control your diagnosis. You can't control your treatment regimen, but you can control what you put into your body and how active you are. So I really love to see that you guys are all doing this. You are tracking your activity, and that's amazing. But tonight we're going to talk about how we can get our energy, keep our energy up to help, you know, maintain our activity level and even increase it if possible. So of course, though, with treatment and cancer, sometimes you have things that prevent you from being active, or there's pain, there's just side effects that will kind of hinder your activity. And, you know, that's one thing, but we really want to maintain our energy level through activity, but also through our diet to be as active and really increase our movement as much as possible, because I'm telling you, it plays such a huge role in stress. And I do feel that stress plays a huge role in disease and infection. So if we can do things to kind of lessen that a little bit, I think it goes a long way. And of course, stress won't go away. You know, it's always going to be present, but it is the way we deal with stress. So going into diet a little bit. So I feel like some doctors or nurses, when patients are going through treatment, they simply tell a patient, eat whatever you want. You know, you are free to eat as much as you want, whatever you want. You're going through treatment. Don't worry about nutrition. But then I have patients that will ask me, they're like, that is confusing. You know, I want to know what's going to help my diagnosis. I want to know what's going to prevent a recurrence. I want to know how I can feel my best and really manage these side effects. So, of course, you know, whatever side effect you're dealing with treatment or post, there's certainly some nutrition recommendations to help. But overall, you know, I encourage a predominantly plant-based diet. So not necessarily becoming vegan or vegetarian by any means, but certainly increasing your intake of fruits and vegetables. And they don't necessarily have to be fresh. You know, frozen is just as good. Canned is good too. Look for low sodium options. I always tell my patients, I'm like, if you have a can of veggies and that's all that's available for you, you know, and it's not low sodium, then put it in a colander, rinse it over some water so you're getting rid of that extra sodium content. And then when you do purchase frozen vegetables or fruit, just make sure that there's no additional additives or added sugars. You know, make sure that the fruit is just fruit and there's nothing processed or added to it because it's not necessary. You know, if you do buy frozen berries, it should just be berries. So those are okay. And those should be a huge part of your diet. And when snacking and, you know, maybe having to do more small but frequent eating, I think that really helps with appetite. It also helps with nausea if that's something that you're experiencing, is more of that grazing diet. And I also feel that that can help with our energy levels. You know, I feel like people are so structured to consume a breakfast, lunch, and dinner when that's not always realistic. And it's not, sometimes you can't get a well-balanced diet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know we're all busy. We have other things going on. We have kids, we have families. And to sit down and have, you know, a piece of protein, whole grains, veggie, fruit with every single meal may not be realistic. So if you're kind of able to condense that and do more nutrient dense snacks, small but frequently throughout the day, it may be more realistic for you. But this is the back end of that, planning and preparation. And I know people don't always like to hear that, you know, because it is time consuming. It's something you really have to think about. You have to write a list, you have to write things down, but that is going to help you become more successful with your eating habits, with consuming healthier foods, and, you know, getting that energy level up. So I always say, whatever day of the week that you have that you can dedicate more time to, spend a little bit more time prepping and preparing. Make a grocery list. Don't just go in or order a grocery list online when you don't really know what you're going to do with those foods. You know, have meal options and recipes ready to go. So besides the eating more fruits and vegetables, lean protein sources. So again, predominantly plant-based. Of course, you know, red meats are one thing, chicken and turkey are fine, they're lean. There's definitely lean pork, venison, things like that. But when it comes to red meats and the oncology population, we do encourage to limit your intake to 18 ounces or less per week. And that's specific to red meats. So that's again, pork, lamb, beef, venison. 18 ounces or less, if I could put that into perspective for you, one serving is 3 ounces. It's like the size of my fist. So that would be like 6 servings of those 3-ounce portions. So 6 times a week, 18 ounces. So besides that though, chicken, turkey, fish, all okay. And those should be, you know, mainly your protein source, but then going into those plant-based options. So beans, legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds, whole grains, so quinoa, buckwheat, wheat berries, bulgur, all of those great whole grains, you do kind of want to transition to, if you purchase a lot of white bread, white cereals, white rice, if you can make a transition and buy brown rice or whole grain bread. And just a little tip for you, when you are looking at the ingredients, make sure that the first ingredient says whole. If it says white, enriched, wheat, refined, those are not considered whole wheat products. So the fiber content may be a little bit lower. There may be some things in there that are just unnecessary. So we always say to make half of your grains whole grains. And those products actually do contain some protein. Other than that, soy products. So I know a lot of my breast cancer patients, especially the estrogen receptor positive ones, really are fearful of soy. And maybe it's because someone told you that that's going to feed your cancer, or that estrogen driven cancers can't have estrogen producing foods, when really, plant-based estrogen versus female estrogen are two different things. But when it comes to soy products, I encourage whole, organic, real soy food. So soy milk, edamame, tofu, tempeh, all of those are actually safe to consume. I do encourage organic, just because they do contain those GMOs, the genetically modified organisms. And I feel that, that and dairy products should be purchased organic, truly, just because of the hormones, the antibiotics they use. And when it comes to other organic foods like fruits and vegetables, it's not necessary to purchase them all organic, but there is something called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. You can Google it. It's updated every year. So the Clean 15 is going to be 15 fruits and vegetables that you do not have to purchase organic. And then the Dirty Dozen is going to be the 12 that you should purchase organic. And that's from farmers. That's from, the USDA, FDA, kind of doing their research to see what pesticides are used, antibiotics, hormones, whatever they add to the fruits and vegetables. Excuse me. So that's one thing to look for, and maybe spend that extra $1 or $2 on those items. So going back into the diet, of course, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, our whole grains, and then of course our dairy products. So I do think that, like I said, more small but frequent eating is going to help increase your energy levels, because we get our energy through food. So if we're not getting enough food, which I find to be very common with this population, because once again, all the side effects related to the cancer treatment can affect the way you eat. And I feel that poor appetite is probably the number one side effect or symptom that I come across and what I help my patients with. So, if they don't have an appetite, they don't feel like eating, they're not going to eat for hours at a time, and their energy levels become lower. They feel more fatigued, and maybe they go and grab a snacky type food because it's just quick and convenient. But really, it's not giving them the energy that they need to kind of maintain. Going back into those snacky type foods. So, of course, I believe everything is fine in moderation. And I strongly encourage portion control, rather than bringing a whole bag of potato chips to the couch, kind of portioning them out and just having a little cup full of them. I know that's easier said than done, but that is going to help with your energy levels in the long run. So those snack type foods, cookies, cakes, pastries, potato chips. I feel that, like I said, they're okay in moderation. Sometimes they provide satisfaction. You feel kind of comfortable consuming those foods, and that's completely fine. And you should be able to enjoy those. I'm definitely not the type of dietitian that tells you to restrict anything. But on the back end, I'm not going to say you can eat whatever you want and it's a free for all either. So we kind of have to have this happy medium. But those type of foods, especially the ones that are simple carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates means quick sugars. So those being pastries, cookies, cakes, candies, pop is a big one. So what those do is they make your blood sugar spike, and your body works really hard to produce insulin to bring it back down to a normal level. Even if you're not a diabetic, your pancreas is still working hard to produce more insulin. Now, when you get to that high level and then you come back down, your body almost craves more sugar because it's that quick drop. And then you kind of want to get back to a normal level. So you have more of these roller coasters, these ups and downs, and you get this quick energy, but then you feel very fatigued afterwards. And that's the same case for like fast foods or greasy foods, fried foods. Those kind of have the same idea. You're getting some quick energy, but then you're going to find if you're going to feel pretty sluggish afterwards. So, of course, everything is okay in moderation, but kind of be mindful and aware of how you feel after consuming certain things. So after a nice hearty big salad with lots of, colorful fruits and vegetables in it, some maybe almonds, some cheese, some beans, you're going to feel a little bit more energized, and it's going to last a lot longer than if you were to go get, a combo meal at McDonald's. And that meal you have at McDonald's may make you crave more sugar or unhealthy foods. So it's almost like a roller coaster effect, but also like a snowball. You continue to eat foods that you're consuming. So why not lead more into the healthy category? And again, I don't really like to use that word, but it's understood, fruits, vegetables. And I feel like too, in the westernized culture here in the United States, we don't eat enough of that stuff. We eat out of convenience. We eat a ton of fast foods. We eat quick processed foods, and that's not necessarily our fault. We are busy people. We like to stay busy. We have families, we have jobs, and sometimes we just want to eat to keep going, for the day. It's not like we're trying to prepare this elaborate meal, and it doesn't necessarily have to be elaborate. I'm going to give you some examples of some quick little meal ideas, snack ideas. So like Greek yogurt with some frozen fruit and granola, maybe a drizzle of honey. Steel cut oats with a little bit of milk, again, the frozen fruit, maybe a bit of peanut butter or almond butter, maybe a black bean wrap with a whole grain wrap with salsa, cheese, maybe a little avocado, even to do something. So going into this wrap thing, hummus wraps, using hummus as the base. It's protein, it's fiber, it's good carbohydrates, and then adding some veggies to it. You can even add more beans to it if you want. Tuna salad, chicken salad. These are so quick, easy, basic things that are good nutrition. They're going to make you feel full. They're going to give you fiber. They're going to give you healthy fats and good sources of protein that's going to make it last longer and give you that energy you need. So those are just a few ideas, but maybe even doing what's even simpler, like sliced turkey breast and cheese with a little bit of avocado or hummus on a wrap or a half of a sandwich, smoothies, these type of ideas you can quickly kind of prepare, but that's something you have to also keep in mind. I have to make a meal list. I have to make a grocery list that has these on here, and I maybe need to write down these snack ideas so that I'm not simply during the week rushing around and not having that extra 15 minutes to kind of throw that all together. So I think, those are probably the best ideas to getting and keeping that energy to maintain your activity level. And there's going to be days when you just don't feel like being active, and that's okay. Don't feel guilty. Don't put those negative thoughts in your head or feel stressed about it, because that's just negative. It's negative feelings associated with something that's supposed to be positive. So make sure that, you listen to your body. If your body needs a day of rest, take advantage of that, and it's okay. But say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to try a little bit harder, or tomorrow I'm going to eat a little bit better so I get that energy and I'm going to be active. Don't beat yourself up. truly, because we all have those days. One of those days was today for me. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to a little bit of questions. I know I just kind of gave you a ton of information in a short amount of time. So if you do have any questions that we can't get through, you know, Jen, you can give them my email and they can shoot me an email, questions, whatever you guys need.
Nobody has any questions? Feel free to mute yourself.
And I'm looking at the chat too, if anyone wants to write in a question. Okay, so someone said fish not farmed, correct? So I'm assuming that means like not farm raised things versus like I encourage wild caught fish when possible. Farm raised and wild caught is both available, and you could see that it is advertised. You know, if you go to Giant Eagle and you go to the butcher and you go to the seafood section, it does say farm raised, color added versus wild caught. So I do encourage wild caught. When it comes to meats, I do encourage, you know, higher quality. You may need to pay a little bit more for the better product. Trying to get more lean meats, grass-fed, organic when possible. So yeah, that's a good question for sure, because I get that a lot. I hope that I answered it.
Angela, what, like, you know, you suggested a lot of changes. And I'm echoing. Is anybody else getting an echo? I don't know why it's but what would the, like, can you break it down into steps? Like, what's the most important thing to start with? Like, just adding more fruits and vegetables, or?
So that's a good question, Jen, and it is completely individualized. So you need to take a look at your diet. You need to take a look at your lifestyle and say, you know, I don't currently get enough fruits and vegetables, or maybe you get more vegetables than fruit. So you could say, you know what, I'm going to make a goal for myself to start maybe just consuming one fruit a day. And that should be what you start with and not focus on anything else. I always tell my patients, my clients, do not set yourself up for failure. Do not overwhelm yourself. Pick one or two small goals, maybe one for food, one for activity, and make them very specific, make them realistic. Like I always tell my patients, I'm like, I'm not really a runner, so I'm not going to set myself up and say I'm going to run like a full marathon by May, because that is not realistic for me. I would never do that. So I'm setting myself up for failure. But I could say, you know, start to run 10 minutes a week in my current routine of walking on the treadmill, you know, whatever it may be to be realistic for me or for you, that's what you should start with. Okay, so someone's asking, is it okay, advisable to do keto for a few weeks as a survivor? So that's a good point to make, that you're a survivor, because a lot of physicians, nurses, they kind of hold off on any specific, or they kind of recommend against certain diets, you know, when it comes to cancer treatments. But as a survivor, so ketogenic diet, it's very specific, and you have to check your urine, you have to check your blood to make sure that you're in ketosis. So I always encourage following or going to the charliefoundation.org. It's CHARLIE foundation.org. It is a website that kind of breaks down all the different diets associated with the ketogenic diet. And then you can find resources on there. You can find recipes on there. So I encourage going more, maybe more modified, because like I said, the ketogenic diet is very specific. We have a team of dietitians over at the Children's Hospital that specialize in the ketogenic diet. And it's for patients that are struggling from seizures associated with epilepsy. So the ketogenic diet is actually supported for those patients. It actually makes them seizure free. I'm not sure if it's because, you know, now you're using ketones for energy instead of glucose. So using fat for energy instead of sugar. But for some reason, stops those seizures from happening. The other cancer diagnosis that has been studied with the ketogenic diet is glioblastomas, so specific brain tumors. Other cancers have not really been researched yet. There's not evidence to support them. So I always tell my patients, if a diet or if something specific is going to cause you unnecessary stress, don't do it. But if you're trying to make a little bit of changes to your diet, doing more healthy fats, lower carbohydrate, moderate protein, then I'm on board. I think it's okay, but I do think you need someone to kind of talk to and guide you through. Excellent question. What else do we have?
Does anybody else have it?
I'll just give a plug for Angela. She's been amazing. I've been working with her for a couple months now, I think, and I was really suffering and wasn't able to eat a lot of different foods. And we've just been slowly setting like 2-3 goals for each month, and I've been working on it. It's like really changed my life. It's been wonderful, and I've been able to exercise when I could was not exercising at all before. I was really struggling. So it's been a huge benefit. So just a little plug.
Thank you, Catherine. And I always talk about you to people too. I'm like, someone has told me about this awesome new website. Copy me that. And I will share it with you all. It's called Copy Me That. And it's pretty much a recipe manager website where it's almost like Pinterest made for recipes. And you go to any website and whatever recipe you find, you can then pin that recipe and it goes all to this website that you made, and it kind of breaks it all down and it gathers them all together. And if if you find a recipe on a website that's a blog and has all this wordy stuff and it takes you forever to get to the recipe, what eliminates all of that and just saves the recipe. It can also make a shopping list, and it even has a menu planner. So thank you, Catherine. We've learned a lot from each other, I would have to say.
Yes, it's been good.
We have several other questions in the chat. Any foods that you would recommend to regrow hair?
Okay. So when it comes to hair, skin, nails, all that stuff, it's really focusing on well-balanced eating, because if you're only consuming certain foods, you may be vitamin deficient, or, just being post-treatment and you want to regain your hair back and help your hair, your skin, your nails. You do want to focus on a well-balanced diet, vitamin A. So lots of colorful, specifically red and orange fruits and vegetables. You want to make sure you're getting enough protein sources, but be mindful too that if it takes a long time for your hair to grow back and it's not growing back like it would, there is potential for a vitamin deficiency, and maybe getting a nutrient panel done, or maybe just taking a simple multivitamin may help to kind of bridge that gap to any deficiencies. What do you recommend for digestion? I remember constipation and other issues when going through chemo. Very good question. These are very common, again, side effects that I hear about. A lot of patients struggle with diarrhea, then constipation, kind of going back and forth. And of course, I always say, talk to your doctor, your nurse about a bowel regimen. So when you are experiencing diarrhea, what kind of medication to take or how much to take versus if you are experiencing constipation. But diet does play a big role. So with diarrhea, you want to follow that brat diet. So bananas, rice, applesauce, toast, switching from those whole grain products that we talked about before to the white, the refined, because those are actually soluble fibers and they are going to bulk up the stool. When you are experiencing constipation, you actually want to increase your fiber content. So more fruits and vegetables, more whole grains, more beans. But when you do that, you got to increase your water intake, because if you increase your fiber without enough fluids, it'll bulk you up even further and make things more difficult. So both diarrhea and constipation, always stay adequately hydrated. Okay.
They're coming in fast and furious now.
That's good. That's good. Oh, what was the tea in brat? I'll just address that real quick. Bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. Tea is for toast. Thank you for talking about soy. I struggle to drink cow's milk. Yep. Soy milk is completely fine, especially with, you know, the estrogen receptor, breast cancer, any breast cancer. Don't be scared of soy. Truly. There's been research done in the Asian culture. You know, soy is a huge staple in their diet, and they actually have lower incidence of breast cancer. So you need to think about that and consider that. Do you recommend any supplements other than a multivitamin? So I always say, think about your diet too. Omega-3 fatty acids are something that I do encourage. If you don't feel like you're getting enough salmon or fatty fish, olive oils, avocado, walnuts, you know, it wouldn't hurt to take an omega-3 fatty acid, because our diets here in the westernized culture, we tend to have a lot more omega-6s than omega-3s. And we really want to balance. So we have more 6s than 3s, and we want to kind of make that even. So omega-6s is going to be more like sunflower oil, safflower oils. A lot of times those are found in our processed foods that we get more of, and we lack the omega-3s. So we don't eat enough walnuts. We don't eat enough avocados, not enough flax seeds, chia seeds. And you know, we kind of need that balance. So if you feel like you're not getting enough of that through your diet, then take a look at that and see if you want to take a supplement. I do also encourage a vitamin D supplement. D3 specifically, especially now in the winter months. We are not getting enough sunlight, of course, and that's how we best absorb vitamin D. So those are my typical vitamins that I encourage. Also a probiotic if you feel like your gut health needs a little boost. But those all need to be discussed with somebody. I do encourage talking with it, you know, a doctor or a dietitian. Make sure that they're safe to take with any chemo regimen or radiation or immunotherapy that you're on, because there is certain interactions that make your treatment less effective. So it's very important to talk about this prior to taking anything. Okay, does krill oil have more benefit than fish oil? Not that I know of. I really have not heard of that being more beneficial than a fish oil. Then again, I really haven't looked into it as much, but just from my current research, no. Okay. I am soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. What should I do for snacks, fruits, raw veggies? Fruits are definitely good. Veggies are definitely great. Maybe some hummus, nuts and seeds, because they're great sources of protein, fiber, healthy fats. Definitely more nut butters, you know, you can do with your fruit. You can dip your hummus in veggies. Popcorn is great. Popcorn is definitely great. It's a whole grain. I know people are fearful of that, but it's like, you're not getting the popcorn that you get from the movie theater. I'd hope. I mean, I like it once in a while too. These are all great questions, guys. Thank you.
So I'm just talking instead of typing it in there.
Sure.
I have mental issues with food lately. So, and it just started like 2 months ago, where there's days that I can't even look at meat. And so, you know, or I'll go to the store and I'll buy stuff, you know, fruits or vegetables mostly, and then it rots and I throw it out because I'm like, I can't do that. Like every day, I'm like, I can't do that today. I can't do that today. And this, like, I crave carbs, like I could eat pasta every day. I don't know where this came from, but it started like 2 months ago, where I can't really even do the meat side of things at all.
Okay. And to be honest, you're not alone with that. I've actually heard patients where they said they've looked at meat and they vomited, or they can no longer tolerate chicken. So that's where I say, you got to focus on protein in some way. So either doing more dairy products, doing more plant-based options. So beans, nuts, seeds, your whole grains, maybe swapping to a whole grain pasta. I know that's like my mom who's Italian. She's like, Angela, don't even bring that in the house. And I'm like, Mom, what?
Right.
You can't even tell
I
the
can-
difference, but
I can barely do spaghetti squash. That's about the only fake pasta I can do because the rest is just like, I can't.
if you can do like a brown rice or a whole grain pasta, that's definitely, a way you can get some more protein. Maybe doing like a pesto sauce or adding pine nuts to the pasta to get some more proteins so that you're avoiding the meat, but you're still getting the protein you need. Doing more nut butters, nuts and seeds. I think that's a way to go just so that you're not, avoiding the protein sources. Maybe even doing a protein drink. Because sometimes when you can't eat or look at food, liquid nutrition is easier.
Yeah, but you don't lose any weight. But that's the frustrating part. But I do, like, my protein's always low. Like, I've struggled with that from the
Okay.
beginning. And this time it was even lower than last month. So, I did buy the protein drinks and I'm trying to drink those. But
And
man, I can't even
too,
drop a pound.
yeah, all those carbohydrate rich foods, people do a ketogenic diet to lose weight because it's low carb. So if you're really focusing in on the carbs and that's the majority of your diet, it probably is going to be hard for you to lose weight. But if you kind of cut back on the carbs, focus on more of the proteins and kind of getting that balance, and then of course increasing your activity as you can, as tolerated is definitely going to be helpful for weight loss. And truly, if you are going through treatment, we encourage weight maintenance. We don't really say lose weight. And we, of course, don't really want you to gain either. So if you're able to stay stable, that's the number one goal.
Thank you.
Don't get discouraged. We're here for you. Okay. I was definitely afraid that my taste for chocolate would disappear after chemo. I heard that happened to someone. Again, with chemo, with certain treatments, it all depends. It's very individualized. Were they on the same chemo as you? Because a lot of times, side effects are so different with each of the chemo regimens, immunotherapy, radiation, whatever it may be. But taste changes is also common. I hear people say everything tastes salty or everything's metallic. What I do encourage is adequate oral care. So one, making sure you drink enough water so that your mouth doesn't get dry. The drier your mouth is, the worse taste the food can be. I also encourage doing mouth rinses, maybe before every meal or snack if you have to kind of get a more pleasant taste in your mouth. And doing an alcohol-free mouthwash so that you don't dry out your mouth even further. You can also do a little concoction of baking soda, salt, and water that'll clear out your mouth and give you a more pleasant taste as well. I also had patients put some grapes in the freezer, suck on those to give them a more pleasant, sweet taste and increase their saliva. Patients suck on hard candies to make sure that they have their saliva and give a more sweet taste. If patients experience metallic, I always say switch to plasticware. So avoid silverware, avoid canned foods, anything in a can, whether it be food or beverage, and switch to plasticware to avoid that metallic taste that may come from that silverware. I hope that doesn't happen for you though. Chocolate is what everyone needs.
I agree 100%. Does pH in the water matter? I drink only bottled water for the most part. I have cut out pop juice.
Okay, good question. A lot of people ask me if they should do like an alkaline diet. And to be honest, there's no evidence to support it. And also our bodies will regulate our pH to be that 7.4. So it's going to balance us anyway, no matter how much alkaline versus acidic foods or drinks we consume. So I wouldn't really necessarily, have you spend the extra couple bucks on a pH or alkaline water. But other beverages you can consume are maybe, you know, a flavored water, a seltzer, club soda with fruit infused waters, teas. Tea is huge. Any kind, truly. Green, black tea, oolong. They're excellent. They have tannins. They support inflammatory, you know, they are anti-inflammatory. So those are a great source. If you are a coffee drinker, you know, sometimes the caffeine, going back to that energy, can give you a boost of energy, but then kind of make you crash, craving more of it. So I always say to compensate with more of other fluids. And, you know, other fluids like even broth or soups or, you know, even ice cream or jello, they melt to a liquid. So those contribute to your fluids as well. Real sugar versus fake sugar, just a little like in tea. Definitely real sugar, small amounts, but you know, if you want to do something like agave nectar, or stevia, they're both from plants. They are a natural sweetener versus like Splenda or, you know, what is that? What is that pink one? Sweet and Low. Those are artificial sweeteners, and there's not really a lot of evidence or, you know, research out there, but I think it's all in the name. You know, it's artificial, it's fake, it's processed. Somebody created it. Why not use something that's from a plant or just something that's natural? Good question.
Anybody typing or anybody have any more questions? Well, this has been excellent, Angela. I mean, you really have covered a lot of ground and I think made it simple. And, you know, there were a lot of specific questions, which I think are fantastic. I know myself, I Mary am like, well, I'm a sugar person. Like I love sugar, cookies, cakes, and it is like a vicious cycle. And I can do really well for a certain period of time and I can bring, you know, my sugar intake down and it does make me feel, I feel so much better. I feel like I have energy. I feel like, because I think, you know, when with the sugar throughout the day, I like need naps. Like I want to pass. And it's just like,
It like does the opposite thing for you. It gives you energy and then it's like, nope, because, you know, our body needs something to build from. And if it's just carbohydrates, we need something else. So that's why I always say using carb and protein, you know, doing well-balanced meals and snacks rather than just something so simple that's going to give us that energy crash.
and I think it's especially hard when you're not feeling well. You want those comfort foods. So it is really hard to, but I do think, you know, you're right to, like, if you can put in, you know, if you could actually fuel your body with things that it needs, the nutrients, I mean, and I you know, I love fruits and vegetables. I'm just kind of lazy. So I have definitely like, you know, but I've got tools now. Like I've started buying tools that can make it easier to chop and, you know what I mean? So it I know it sounds silly, but it helps.
No, it absolutely does help. And that's why I always have frozen fruit on hand too, because I could be lazy also, or it could go to waste because I'm just not eating it as quick enough. And, you know, so that's a huge point. You got to put in that extra work a little bit. And it's easier said than done. But Gail, I love that. Mixture of cinnamon, stevia on top of toast when you want something sugary. Never tried that. I like it. I used to buy that like cinnamon, actual already cinnamon bread with raisins in it. Like, oh.
Isn't that Jenny Lee, like their claim to fame?
So that would probably be a healthier alternative, Gail. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
All right. Well, I think that's I think that's it, Angela. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us tonight. I think does anybody have any questions just about tracking their activity or anything that you know, Martin?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I had a oncologist meeting on Friday after having started Happy Feet Monday, and I lost 3 pounds, which scared the nurse half to death. She said, "Oh my goodness, you're losing weight." I said, "Yeah, I would hope so." Been walking every day.
Yay! That's
Well,
fantastic. If that's okay with your doctor, we don't want to scare your doctor.
well, yeah, but when you started obese, anything is good. You know,
You
any
don't look
loss
obese.
is good.
You got a lot of smoke and mirrors going there, Martin. You don't look obese to me.
Oh, my primary care tells me all the time, you know, you're obese, but you have to see her. She's as slim as a willow, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're walking. It's definitely motivating me because I was not motivated at all. But I do have to say though, I am tired. And that's actually our topic next week is sleep and rest. And that is, we're going to have a speaker from West Penn Hospital from their psychiatry department that's talking about like mindfulness and sleep. And so, but I had no trouble sleeping all week because this is like the most I've walked in a really long time. And I think like actually on Friday, I fell asleep at 6:30. I'm embarrassed to tell you, but so I'm glad you're getting some response though, or some, is anybody else experiencing any changes?
I've lost 4 pounds in a week.
Who is that saying that?
Odette.
Odette, that's fantastic. That's amazing, especially for a chef who I'm sure, are you still cooking up a storm or are you just not so much?
Yeah, I'm cooking up a storm, but I'm actually, I started using a lot more vegetables and doing different interesting things with, especially raw vegetables. It just seems like they fill you up a lot and they taste good. But yeah, definitely did that change. And that worked out well.
That's fantastic. I'm very grateful to hear that. And I know you've actually did a cooking show for Wendy's group once, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so maybe you'll have to, maybe you and Angela can partner up together and and you could cook something at the end or something but that's fantastic. This is all awesome. Anybody else has any good news to share or challenges?
I actually work from home in my basement all day. So just the act of getting outside to walk midday has been really great for my mental health too, because there were some really nice sunny days this week and I would not have known that if I just plugged on through at the computer in my hole in the basement.
Yeah, it is hard to work where you don't have much light, and it does make a profound difference on your mood. And I think because I've been walking at lunchtime too, because it's a little too chilly in the morning. Like I try to wait until, the sun has been amazing. Like I'm very grateful for the sun. So that's fantastic. Anybody have any challenges or hard time getting their motor started or? There's stuff in the chat. Let me see. We got a very well-mannered group here. Everyone's just keeping muted and so Angela wants to cook with you, Odette. So you got a cooking partner. Yeah,
Let's set that up.
Yeah.
I have no problem if anybody has any questions or anything like that. Just post something to me, maybe in the Facebook page or whatever. If you want some different recipes of things to do. I know for the cooking show that I did for Wendy, one of the things I told people to do is it's super simple too. For fruits is take lemon yogurt and mince up candied ginger. And you mix the ginger in with the yogurt, and it's this lovely, bright, lemony ginger flavor. And it's great for dipping like any kind of vegetable that you want. And it's it's one of those things that you can use it anyway. At any time you can put it in the refrigerator, and it's there and it's ready to go.
That's awesome. I love ginger. It's especially candy ginger. Well, that's fantastic. Well, I am thrilled. So if anybody has, Ashley, I was exhausted this week with clinicals and I haven't worked a 40-hour week in a while. So I took Thursday and Friday off from working out. Now I spend 8 hours in acute care helping patients move and do exercises. I definitely think that counts. I think that's a lot, Ashley. And I know you're just coming off of treatments, and you got a lot of balls in the air. So I'm very excited that you're still able to maintain school and moving forward. That's fantastic. Okay, so if everybody is good with, set their goals and tracking, we are gonna, I guess Catherine and I, because ultimately what I wanted to do is to have everybody set their own personal goals, then that would create the group goal. And nobody has to feel guilty. Like some people are saying, I don't want to be part of the group goal because what if I don't feel well? Or, I think we all have, are reasonable with each other, and we could back it down a little bit. I mean, me setting the 7-week goal at 10,000 minutes, clearly I'm not a slave driver. So
yeah, we're more than halfway there in our first week. Good job, everyone.
We can have our celebratory party next Wednesday. We'll be there. But anyway, so I mean, that's pretty much it for tonight. I actually just put what I'm going to try to do, and I wasn't able to do this tonight, was to put everybody's, ultimately what I want to do with the gift cards that we're going to draw each week would be each time you enter, you enter data into every time you enter a data of movement, then we'll put your name in the kitty. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this week. So I just put everybody's name in the basket that's here tonight, and then we will we'll tally up later. But I have all these, I wrote everybody's names on a piece of paper. So I have an accountant in the closet. You might not be able to see him, but everything is up and up on the square here. And Olga is our winner. Is Olga still here? Yeah, Olga, you got a $20 Target gift card, which luckily you live close to me, so I can just drop off at your house. So I have to.
Thank you. I didn't know I was gonna win something. Is this gonna be weekly?
Yeah, we just have just little gift cards, so that it's just a small way to encourage people to participate and to just to walk or whatever you can do just to try to motivate you. We do have calls again on Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday is at noon and Thursday is at 5. We don't have a speaker. Oh, actually we do have this, a good friend of mine does like somatic movement. And it's really hard to describe, but she basically tries to release the tension out of your body, because one of the phrases that she has is the issues are in the tissues, that you store your stress in your tissues. So she does, she's been trying to get me to come over to her house and do this rebounding, which I probably am going to do. I'm probably not going to do it this week, but she's just going to come on the Zoom call. And so we'll do a little bit of work with her. It won't last long. I mean, the whole call will probably be about 45 minutes long. So if you're welcome to join us. If you can't make that particular call, I have her phone number if you're interested in, or I don't think I'm going to record each. I'm just going to only record the Sunday night calls because it's just takes up a lot of space. But so hopefully, we'll just try to keep offering different things that give you ways to reduce stress and to, make your life a little bit better, to just maximize the good things that are happening, whether you're in treatment or not. And which one will your friend? Oh, my friend will be on Tuesday at noon. I really haven't found to accountability partners too well, so I don't know. I know people want them, just don't know how to do it. Should I match make people and just randomly put 2 people together?
Jen, I put up a poll in the Facebook group, and I think last time I checked, there were just 2 people who said they want an accountability partner. So maybe we should have those 2 people check in with each other. We can see if anyone else had also, but I know that there are also a lot of folks who are not on Facebook. So that's, we can try to figure that out.
Yeah. And so I would like to try to put, try to make the private page on the website, like the main page, because I know everybody could access that. And if you have any trouble logging in or building, and I have to approve, like I get an email and says, Martin wants to be on this page. Do you approve or decline? So I have to approve. So that and then I'll try to just keep checking as quickly as I can so everybody can get into that page. But we just want to, you know, try to build a community, try to help everybody, you know, get healthier and work together and just, you know, just try to get through the winter without going crazy. But I'm thrilled. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything? I know Odette asked about the information for the cognitive meeting. Would you, I can just email you independently unless, I mean, I hate to keep emailing everybody on the whole kit and caboodle because I know, you know, I hate when I get 1,000 emails from somebody, but if anybody wants it, it's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I'd be happy to send it out to anybody that is interested. Okay. Well, Angela, I'm sorry, what?
I'm definitely interested.
Okay, that's Odette. Who said that? I can't always.
Yes, that's Odette.
Okay. Okay, I can email you right after this is over.
Cool.
And then Samantha. Okay, and if there's any ways that you can see we can improve this is the first time we've done this. So if you have any thoughts or, you know, as we go, I appreciate any kind of feedback one way or the other. And Margaret, what is your last name? If you don't mind me asking.
Sorry, I had you on mute. I'm Babnick, B-A-B-N-I-K.
Oh, okay.
Babnick, Peggy.
Good.
Thanks.
All right, I oh, all right, well, I think that's it for tonight. Angela, thank you for giving us your Sunday night. And for all of you attending tonight, it was fantastic. And I will either see you Tuesday, Thursday, or next Sunday, or I'll see you making that speedometer go nuts. So thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.